Math 2, Unit 2, Congruence, Construction, and Proof. If math is such an important subject, and it is, why teach it in a way that is dependent on a child's weakest mental ability, memory, rather than her strongest mental ability, imagination? Jeff White. The big ideas for this unit include ideas about congruence and proof. You will apply what you learned about rigid transformations in the last unit to establish congruent relationships with triangles, lines, and angles. You will also learn about the hierarchy of ways of knowing and justifying geometric relationships. Your work in this unit will help you move from accepting that what you are told is true to creating arguments that prove that a conjecture is true by organizing a sequence of mathematically justified statements that leads to a desired conclusion. The tools that you will use in this unit to discover and prove geometric relationships include constructions, rigid motion transformations, and tessellations. In the first two lessons, you will use tools such as a compass, straight edge, digital manipulatives, or transparent paper to discover geometric relationships. Learning how to use a compass will help you identify and create congruent arcs and segments. These tools will help you discover relationships involving perpendicular bisectors and equilateral triangles. These develop understanding lessons will help you make connections between the geometric transformations that you completed in the previous unit and the congruent relationships that you will discover in this unit. In lessons 3 and 4, you will use your prior knowledge regarding rigid motion transformations and the definition of congruent to identify the minimum criteria necessary to prove that two triangles are congruent. After identifying the triangle congruence criteria, you will apply what you've learned to justify relationships with triangles, such as proving that the base angles of an isosceles triangle are congruent and that points on an angle bisector are equidistant to the sides of the angle. In the next lessons, you'll learn how to organize a logical sequence of statements that justify a claim. You will apply the ways of knowing and move towards justifying that you know a statement is true by using definitions, theorems, and postulates. In the following lessons, you'll use transformations to continue to identify geometric relationships. For example, you'll examine the triangle sum theorem, the vertical angle theorem, the remote interior angle theorem, discover which transformations will preserve parallelism, and prove relationships that exist when a transversal intersects two or more parallel lines. The unit concludes with Lesson 10, where you will apply what you have learned throughout the unit to write formal paragraph, flow, or two-column proofs to prove conjectures about lines, angles, and triangles. Here is a list of key vocabulary terms for this unit. Some of these vocabulary terms should already be familiar to you from the previous unit and previous courses. Here are some key skills that are needed to be successful with the content in this unit. You should be able to define and perform rigid motion transformations, and use informal arguments to establish facts about the sums of angles and exterior angles and triangles, and angles created by parallel lines cut by a transversal. In addition to your teacher and school-based resources, there are several additional resources available. The Ready, Set, Go homework help videos are housed in the Canvas site for your class. You can access these in Canvas using your student login. If you do not know how to log into Canvas, ask your teacher for help. The K-12 Math Resources website, which can be found on your school's website, includes additional support items such as unit and lesson overviews, videos overviewing the tasks, essential vocabulary, the North Carolina standards for each unit, learning targets for each lesson, and extra practice problems.